What's up everybody, Kyle here again, and today we're going to take a look at this. The Airis Effects Parallel Overdrive V2. Let's do it. Alright guys, hope you are all doing great out there today. As I said in the intro, we're going to take a look at the Parallel Overdrive V2 by Airis Effects today. I'm running this overdrive through two different amps at the moment. That first clip that you heard was through the Armored Amplification Sabo. I've also got a Dover DA50 set up, and we're going to mess with some settings on both of these amps. The Parallel Overdrive V2 is kind of like a clean boost and an overdrive in one. It also has a tight switch and a built-in noise gate, so we're going to go over that stuff real quick. Essentially, you can kind of use this blend knob here to go from a clean boost all the way to an overdrive, or somewhere in between, whatever suits your ear the best, whatever suits the amp the best. Okay, on top of that, you've got your dirt knob, which is essentially just your gain or overdrive knob. If you're trying to add some grit to your signal, there's quite a bit in here that you can get. So if you're playing this on like JCM 800, you need to add some clipping from your pedal. Boom, it's in there. It'll get you what you want. The volume is a volume. There's actually, I believe, up to 40 decibels of boost on this thing. So it gets extremely... It has a ton of output and can push any amp that you want into overdrive and well past it. I actually was able to overload both of these amps by turning that up. It sounds pretty good to me right around noon, a little bit above noon. And then you've got your mids knob, where if you turn it down, you've got less mids. You turn it up, you've got more mids. So those are all fairly self-explanatory. Okay, so over here you have a three-way clipping switch. There's the stock setting, op amp, and the Airis setting. We're going to go through all three of those. Over here you have your voicing switch. So the voicing, it can either be stock, which is exactly how the pedal was voiced. You can put it in bright. That'll give you a bunch more higher frequencies in your signal, or dark, which will take out more higher frequencies from your signal. So, seems like a very versatile pedal. I really haven't used it until I plugged in here to check it out. So I'm kind of experiencing this for the first time as you are, and you guys are getting my honest reactions to the pedal. Let's go ahead and set something up real quick, pretty close to what I already had going, and we will play the clean amp. So that's the amp with no boost out front. Let's kick it on. You immediately hear that noise gate. By the way, the noise gate is internal on this. There's nowhere to adjust it on the outside. Airis says that they have it preset from the factory at basically an optimal setting for most scenarios. But if you want to get in there and adjust it and make it more or less aggressive, you have to open up the pedal to get in there and mess with it. So there is that. It is adjustable, but it's inside the pedal. As you guys can hear, the amp just immediately went silent when I kicked the boost on, so that's really good. All right, so that's with just the drive on. We're gonna kick the tight switch on. Okay, so that sounds pretty damn good. Let's go over to the Dover real quick. See how it sounds on the Dover? We have no boost on, Dover DA50. Boost is on. Amp is now silent. You guys can hear how much output this pedal has. It really kicks the saturation in on both amps, but the Dover's pretty dry and it's making it sound very, very wet and saturated. So, tight switch on. So you guys can see it makes a massive difference. So let's kick the drive on. Let's go through the switch settings. We're now on stock on the clipping mode and stock on the voicing. Let's turn the blend back to 9 o'clock. Doesn't seem to impart any clipping, seems to be like a little cleaner signal. Let's turn it up to 9 o'clock. Okay, so the higher you dial it, the more like upper mids I'm hearing. I'm not exactly sure which way is which, to be completely honest. This almost seems like it might be the cleaner side and it just has a little bit more output, because usually a clean boost signal boosts your guitar signal and actually adds more lows and low mids and makes it a little bit woofier in the low end. So over here it seemed like it was tighter. Okay, so that's that. Let's dial the mids back a little bit here. Let's dial them up. So it dials up the upper mids for sure, definitely like a kind of a spiky frequency, which will help you sit in the mix really well. I like that. We're gonna put it back to about right there. Let's mess with the volume. Turn it down to like 10 o'clock. Obviously that takes a lot of the signal out. We're at noon. On the lower volume settings, it seems like the pedal is kind of fighting the gate, but I don't think that most people are going to be running this like that. All right, so now we're up at like 1:30, 2 o'clock. Okay, so that adds in a lot of output. Obviously adds in naturally some lower frequencies too. So let's kick that tight switch in. Tightens it up a little bit, not a huge difference. But it does make a difference for sure. Not only does it take off some of the lows, but it also seems to shave off some of the highs too. So I don't know if I like that. Overall, sounds pretty good though. Let's pull that blend back up to about noon. All right, guys, so we're going to stick with these settings, but we're going to switch over to the op amp side. Don't like that as much. Back to stock. Yeah, the op amp seems a little darker and a little bit more low mid focused. Seems to retain about the same amount of low end. It just seems to not have as many like upper end frequencies. So let's go over to the Airis setting. That actually seems to be the most low mid based out of any of them. Okay, so let's go back to stock and then over here to the bright switch. So here's stock on the voicing, stock on the clipping. Okay, now we are over on the bright on the voicing. Cool. Now we are on the dark setting. I feel like if you're a guy that doesn't like their boost to take a lot of low end out of their signal, this is for you. All right, guys, there she is. Sounds pretty good, right? I haven't turned any dirt on yet. Let's turn the gain down on the amp. All right, and let's turn that dirt up, see where we can get. It adds quite a bit. Adds some noise too, but it adds a lot of gain. So that's the amp with nothing. That sounds really good, actually. So the Dover kind of thins out with the gain lower. Let's go over to the Sabo. The noise is definitely coming from the volume. Let's roll that volume back a little bit. Rex Cassidy, those chords are for you, my man. All right, guys, so as you can hear, the pedal's now dead silent, so there's kind of like a threshold on the volume where it starts imparting noise and the gate can't keep up at the stock setting. So if you want to dial it higher, you'll just have to dial the gate a little bit more aggressive on the inside. But yeah, hopefully I showed you guys everything that you needed to know on this pedal to make an informed decision. Personally, I think it is a cool pedal. Lots of features, and you could really put this in front of a lot of different amps and accomplish a lot of different things. For me, I just don't like that I can't get it to tighten up the lows quite as much as I would like, because I'm so used to tube screamer type pedals where they really tighten up the lows and make them punchy. But a lot of you guys know I like things really tight, so my opinion doesn't necessarily apply to everything by any means. Really cool drive, tons of features. You could put this in front of many amps, as I just said, and be really happy with it, as long as you aren't expecting the normal tube screamer style circuit where it takes a lot of your lows out, which a lot of people are, opposed to that. They don't like that. This might be a really cool option for you, and a built-in gate. Yeah, this is definitely a great pedal with lots of functional features. So I absolutely recommend that you check this thing out, give it a try for yourself, put it in front of a couple of your amps, and let me know what you guys think about it if you do have it. Let me know your recommended settings if you do have it. And I can try that stuff out too. Leave those down below in the comments. As for the armored amp, James and Dalton got together and sent me this amp to demo, so I'm gonna have a couple videos on this thing. If you mention my channel to James and you want to order one of these armored Sabos, you will get 10% off of that price if you mention my channel, so keep that in mind. Really appreciate you guys sending me this amp. Even though they sent me this amp, my opinions on this thing are completely unbiased. I do think it's an awesome amp. Yeah, hope you guys found this helpful. I enjoyed it. Hope you did too. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.